Alright guys, we are back with the LCQ Studios and Motocross Chasing the Dream. For this video, it is a post-commentary, and it's mostly about the physics, and I played the game for a couple more hours, probably have close to 4 or 5 hours in the game, and I want to go over the whips in the game, right? So before we get to that, I do have some first person here because I had some gameplay of this, but I forgot to put it in the first video we did, and I do apologize. I still am have this really bad plugged up head, so yeah, headset mic today, not the best quality, but the game comes out on August 30th, which is my birthday. Cool birthday present from the boys over at LCQ Studios, but we did get an early access code from them to show it to you a bit early. So again, we do have more time in the game. I feel like we got better. I know the first person, we don't really throw any whips, but I just wanted to show it to you. So first person, just kind of a quick comment on it. It is pretty good. I feel like the camera could be a bit higher. I know he has said that you will be able to modify that, adjust it eventually, but for right now it does feel a bit low. And then we switch over to I have a bunch of edits here throwing some whips. Some in first person, some in third person, my bad, third person and slot cam. And what I did was I just set up a waypoint, or a reset marker, so I could keep doing it over and over again. And I feel like the whips probably look the best in slot cam, but they actually look really sick in third person. It just takes some getting used to. The physics are very free, but the way, I mean, you can throw whips left and right, kind of do a turn-down whip even. I don't know if you'll be able to do turn-down whip, or not a turn-down whip, an oppo whip, but you can kind of do a turn-down whip, and I'm guessing if you adjust on the physics, or after you play the game for a while, you'll probably be able to do more stuff than I'm even doing here, but these whips are actually really sick. And then you have like the small whips, the scrubs. It feels really good in the game. When I first played, it was my very first time playing that last video we did. I was kind of commenting that, you know, I could kind of throw it out, but it didn't feel like bringing it back worked very good. I don't know if I said that, but that's kind of how I felt. After playing, it's weird. The physics are free. You kind of throw the bike out and control that, and you control it the whole time, but you almost just let the physics of the game bring the bike back. You still have to bring it back. I'm not saying you don't have to do that, but you do that with the way the bike reacts in the air. You know what I mean? So, kind of in a realistic way, you just throw the bike out, but your momentum in the game will help you bring the bike back. So, I'm not saying that the physics don't need to be adjusted on, and I want to say this because I feel like people that play the game for the first time might get a bit frustrated with it. Just stick with it. It's different, but once you figure it out, it feels really good in the game. This was later gameplay I captured kind of at the end of trying to make this video, so this is probably the best whips we get. And then here we throw a backflip for you. Just to show you can do it, and then I have most of a lap in slot cam here because it looks cool. It looks really cool. But then we go over to regular third person, check out the arena cross track, some better supercross track gameplay, the motocross track, and some of the trails. So just my first impressions, I guess, is that yeah, the game has some bugs. It has some reset bugs. There is some bouncing. The ground physics feel pretty good, and I already said it that the closest game I could think of to compare it to would be like an MXGP game probably, and the more I thought about that, I was gonna get gameplay for you, but I did have a problem, and I don't know if it's a bug. The first time I opened the game, it was fine, and then the second time I opened it, it didn't recognize my controller. You could use the keyboard, but it was so weird. It said the controller configuration was loaded in, everything was fine, but it didn't recognize it. So I don't know if that's a bug, and then I just kept messing around with it, and eventually it did work. But yeah, the closest thing I could think to compare this to would be MXGP3. Not the way it feels in the air, or not necessarily the way it feels in the air, but the way it you would control it. You know, in MXGP games, you have to push the sticks together, pull them apart to do the whip. You don't do that in this game. It's free physics, but the ground physics feel very similar to that. Also, and I know he's aware of it, I did talk to Hodge a tiny bit. He is aware of, you did see it on the arena cross track, in that loop section, you start to lose momentum very, very quickly, and the bike bogs down in kind of a weird way. They are aware of it, and I mentioned it in the first video that the rider animations would help the game so much, and I'm sure that will come. Right now, again, this is a free physics demo just to get people's input on how the bike feels in the air. I do think at times it does feel a little bit floaty, but the problem with that is if they change the time you're in the air, the floatiness in the game, that will affect the way you whip, because the whipping, you like, it's a slower whip than it is in some games. You know, it's not really fast. So if they change the way the airtime is and decrease that, they would also have to probably speed up the whip a bit. And if they can do that, great. But I actually like the way the whip is right now, the way the bike is in the air. I just feel like it is a bit floaty. But again, it worries me if they speed up the time you're in the air. It will affect the way you whip the bike. You might not be able to bring it back, because there was times I was throwing really big, sweet looking whips and I was just barely getting it, you know, back around in time. So either it'll change how big you can whip, or they'd have to speed it up a tiny bit. But the ground physics, I mentioned it in the first video, and I will again, it is really easy to oversteer in the game. And I think, I stand by what I said, I feel like that's probably just something you'll have to get used to. You know, once you get used to it, it probably won't feel that weird. Again, rider animations, I know that sound is a deal breaker for a bunch of people, but you can't hold that against him. He warned people that the sounds were going to be not great. I actually think they're way better than what I was expecting. I was expecting awful. Like really, 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 really bad sounds. And I'm not saying these are good, but this is better than what I expected. And again, I did talk to Hodge a bit. It sounds like they do have some really good high quality audio, but the problem is the credits show 4 people. 4 people working on this game. And Michael Hodge is the sole programmer, the guy that does the physics and stuff, and they don't have an audio person. So I have no doubt, you know, that sounds will come later in development, but for right now, I mean, if that's a deal breaker for you, it's a shame, because you're really missing out. This game is awesome. It really is awesome. And then to end the video, one thing I do want to mention, I did see a bunch of the comments. I need to get back to them. By the way, I usually do respond to comments. I saw someone specifically accusing me of saying that I just stay in the video when I upload. Actually, I upload at the same time. I'm usually not in the video when the video uploads, but yeah, just someone coming after me. But one specific comment was that they felt like this game was just like Reflex, but a worse version. I respect your opinion, I do, and maybe it appears that way when you watch it, but after playing it, I don't see that at all. This game does not feel like, or even really look like, Reflex in my opinion. The rider feels stiff, and just the way he's on the bike probably doesn't help. I think the best part about the way he is on the bike is sticking his leg out. I feel like they got that down pretty good. They need to add more animations to the rider, obviously, but I don't see it being a worse Reflex. It doesn't even really feel like that in the air. But of course, like I said, your opinions are important, and I hope if you feel that way, you have PC and can play it on PC. I think, I think it was Sweet Dreams, I'm not sure. I know who you are. I think you made custom tracks in Reflex, right? I played your track, or at least one of your tracks, maybe 2. I respect your opinion. I have nothing against it. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I disagree. I don't think it feels like Reflex. But he did say he wants to add mod support and all that stuff, so if he can get mod support up, and we can get real gear, actual bike skins for the 125 or whatever in different tracks, I think this game has the potential to be really, really good. If you give them some time, give them good feedback, I think this could be a really sick game. And I really think after you play it, you're gonna see that this is a fun game that you can really throw some mad, sick, big, nasty whips in. So let me know in the comments, guys. I will get back to you. It just takes me time. I'm busy. I can't sit on YouTube all day long and respond to comments, but I will try my best. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.